I am responsible for my reactions. I am guided by integrity, not impulse. My peace, my values, and my actions define me, not my status or what I lose or gain. I choose growth, accountability, and strength. Recently, Michigan Wolverines head coach Sherrone Moore, he was dismissed or fired with cause after the university found credible evidence that he engaged in inappropriate behavior or had an inappropriate relationship with one of the staff members. And what happened after that is, hours after he got fired, Sherrone Moore, he went to the woman's house that he was involved in a relationship with, and she's the one who ended the involvement, and he went into her apartment or the area that she was living in without permission. He has criminal charges now because he was arrested and he was charged with felony third-degree home invasion, stalking in a domestic relationship, and breaking and entering. Now, this guy had a family. He was married with 3 children. And so what is it that we can learn from this situation? Because the whole world is currently talking about it. But what we need to focus on is accountability versus privilege. Because public figures, just like with anything in life, there is a lesson behind this. So when ambition, entitlement, and emotion collide, there are real consequences that occur. And so this particular story with this coach, it's not about him losing his job because he lost his job because of the decisions that he made. It's more about having a wake-up call about how your character and not your status, it determines destiny. The first thing that we can learn from this is that success, it won't save you from consequence. It will not. You can be wealthy, you can have power, you can be influential, and you can be admired by millions and millions. But guess what? That does not make you immune to the results of your behavior. If you act like someone who's disrespectful and disrespecting personal boundaries and disrespecting officials, whether you're in a workplace or whether you're just in a relationship, all of these things, all of these deeds, they are going to catch up to you. They will catch up to you. The universe has an interesting way of making things catch up to you when you least expect it. And no title protects you from the law. No title protects you from morality or accountability. Now, if we can look at this through a different lens, we can also notice that emotional reactions are not a strategy. Because this Sherrone guy, he didn't handle rejection or the investigation or stress with maturity. He didn't handle any of that with maturity. Anger and fear can override logic if you don't have emotional regulation. And if you respond to pain with impulse, oh my Lord, especially when you're in a position of power, you set yourself up for public and private destruction. So we want to react to protect pride, but we must respond to protect legacy. Your integrity, it matters way much more than the image. Having a private relationship with a subordinate, it's something that puts you in a vulnerable position, but the behavior that followed afterward, that turns into a criminal matter, and that's a complete violation on so many different levels. So integrity isn't just about avoiding wrongdoing, it's about making choices that protects everyone's dignity, including your own. Your mental health and the awareness of your mental health, this isn't an option. And in this particular guy's case, it was known that he has had mental issues, and these were things that were more of a concern way before firing. And so even if you have these type of behaviors, that's not an excuse. You don't just excuse bad behavior, but what this is going to do, it highlights internal work that needs to happen. Knowing yourself, managing your stress, and seeking support when you need it, because those aren't weaknesses. They're prerequisites for leadership and healthy relationships. Actions define your character, not your title. You can be brilliant at your craft. You can be the best. You can be amazing at your craft. But if you fold emotionally, come on, what are we doing? If you fold emotionally, ethically, or socially under pressure, your impact will crumble. Because your strength, it's not measured by paychecks. Even though making money is good, it's not measured by paychecks. It's measured by how you conduct yourself when things fall apart. How do you handle situations when things don't go your way? There's so many different things that could have happened differently and he wouldn't have been in this position. Now, here's some practical takeaways for your life. I want you to pause before you act, because impulse reactions, these are things that can destroy what took years to build. Take years to build your career, your family, all this experience. You took years to build it just because you couldn't keep your what in your pants? Come on, man. You need to separate your sense of self from achievements, because your job, your title, your reputation, that's not your identity. That is not your identity. All of those can be taken away. And this is why it's important to practice emotional regulation. You need to manage your emotions. Do some meditation. Go to therapy if you need it. Do breath work and have honest reflections, because these are things that are going to empower us. We also need to make sure that we're respecting boundaries for yourself and also others. You know, consent matters everywhere, and whether it's personal or professional. So you need to be accountable before anyone else has to enforce it. You know, the victim, the law, or even the institution, they shouldn't be the ones that's responsible for your actions. You should be. There's many different things that could have happened in a situation where, yes, what he did, it was not anything that people would salute or make him be painted as a good person, which is okay. But when he started becoming violent, becoming irrational, that's when the situation became something that won't be reconcilable in a sense, because now he's a criminal because he couldn't handle himself because of the deeds that he decided to do. No one told him to have an affair with someone he works with. Especially when you have a family, like, come on, man. If you look at someone like Ime Udoka, who was a coach for the Boston Celtics, he was someone who got fired because he had inappropriate relationships with people that he worked with, and he was in a long-term relationship with Nia Long. The relationship ended with him. His name was smeared. He was suspended from the league for over a year. But guess what? He's back in the NBA. He's coaching the Houston Rockets. And he's able to hold himself accountable for his actions and not spiral out of control because of the decisions that he made. And I salute someone like that who can stand firm and hold themselves accountable versus being emotionally erratic over something that he caused. You did this. No one is to blame but you. So there's so many things that we can learn from this. And the biggest thing is, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.